Hello and welcome to Sofa Broker with my spring edition. Spring has sprung. In fact, I think technically, Mr. Daniel McPeak over there. Say hello, Daniel.
Hi, Solly. Do I talk to you? I can't remember. It's been so long. What's happened? Why has it been so long since we spoke?
Well, because we did a couple on Zoom, and we are we're in two minds as to whether they are of the quality that our amazing fans are used to. So, dear fan, we will.
We're going to Mr. Pirate,
the pirate.
Yeah.
We are going to possibly put out a Zoom version, which I think would be the first one. Producer Stan. Yeah, welcome back, Producer Stan, everyone.
He's back, but he's also going this weekend. So
I know.
He hasn't managed to do much for his dad, even though I went, can you just do one thing for me for a day? And It's been like, he's been off to, where have you been? Prague.
Bloody hell.
Gallivanting around Prague. He's been to someone's farm where he spent a few days.
Not Clarkson's.
No, but I think he'd like to go there because he's a fan.
Right.
Anyway,
did he get him to clean the bike or anything like that, or
he don't even know what it is.
When kids come back from university, what are they supposed to do with that when they're hungover? They're supposed to wash the car and clean the patio.
He told me he doesn't drink,
mate.
He sent me.
Stan, how many pints of beer have you had since you've been at Durham University? None.
See, he sent me a picture when he was in Prague of a Harley Davidson dealership.
Oh yeah.
And I went, get me a sticker or a t-shirt, and he sent me back a message in disgust. I mean, I do not want people to think I like bikes. That is my son. That's
sad news.
I tell you who does wash the bike.
Yeah.
Harley, 3.5 years old.
Harley.
She washes the bike for
Very
me.
uncomplicated life you lead.
She washes the Harley. Harley does it. Harley.
I'm thinking of a John Lennon song for some reason.
Well, I would think about what we're going to talk about because it has been a while and it is spring. And
Well,
you was finishing off your intro before I.
Yeah, hello everyone, welcome. We always go on to bikes, motorcycles, things with engines. Dan's been told to stop kicking the microphone by someone who's still in his teens. Yeah, stop kicking things. Yep. So that's good. Good to know that we are still the kids in the room.
Yeah.
Which is why we keep doing this. Now. So yeah, no, spring has already sprung, and it's now technically summer, although it's a little bit chilly. But
is it summer? I've never been able to work out.
It is summer.
When does it go from winter to spring to summer to fucking cold again?
It'll get really cold in June, and then it'll be really hot and sticky in July.
Right.
And then August, everyone's thinking, oh God, September's round the corner. God, we're so English.
Yeah.
But no, it is gorgeous at the moment. And talking of gorgeous, I went to the best part of this great country of ours, which is the county of Kent, the day before yesterday.
He yawns.
It is.
Did you play cricket?
I didn't, but I went past. I wistfully drove through the county lanes in my trusty Volvo estate with the windows down, breathing in the hops and the barley and the apple trees and the vineyards that we have now that Kent has become France, thinking, this is not a bad life, Solomon, as I drove towards what I hope will be our latest instruction, that being a gorgeous, gorgeous country house in Kent.
So let's, while you're being all whimsical and poetic and all the other, what is that, your poetry that you was just saying? Is there a poem about Kent that you'd like to dispatch? Where did that come from?
We haven't done January for a while.
No, it's because I've got two. Good. And let's interview you. So you should by now have done years and years and years and years of real estate. How many years you've been doing it? 7 years, 8 years.
Is it 8? Actually, do you know what?
How long?
Next year will be my 30th year in real estate.
30 years.
30 years. 1997.
Why haven't you got it yet?
It's a really good question. Because every time, do you know what? I'm talking about, and I'm going to marry the lovely Kent, valuation thing with what we're talking about here. I actually did tell the client who desperately wants to use us that I was the worst estate agent I've ever met, and she thought that was brilliant. I said, I'm really bad at showing houses. She said, great. So, maybe a bit of self-awareness, or maybe just being bad, is the thing that's kept me going. I don't know.
No, mate, you're absolutely right. We all have bits about estate agency that we find easy and bits that we don't, and we struggle with them bits. And I think what's really interesting in your 74 years on the planet and most of that being an agent,
Yeah.
is that the most important thing that I get from you and a lot of other agents that are agents is they still they take part in the daily tasks. There isn't a point yet where one says to one, right? All I do now is work off recommendations. That is bollocks, right? You still got to go through it. Yes, you may get recommendations, but you still go through stuff, and you still go through the turning up, going through someone's front door, sitting down with them, telling them about what you do, telling them about what, and you can be doing it in the later part of your life as you approach 70. You can be doing it at the younger part of your life. But the thing that holds it all together, you never stop doing that. Is that's right? Because that's what I do. Is you're always like tomorrow. I've got to go see a property.
Whereabouts?
Just around the corner, Emerson Park. It's worth about $4.5 million. And it's kind of like I will go through the same process, a little bit more honed. Like so what happened with you talking to that person there, if I can butt in, is you are so confident now. I think that's the bit I may have been thinking about before I even thought about it. That is the reason I'm talking about it before I even spoke about it.
Your point being?
You're so confident now that you can sit back and go, I'm the worst person to do viewings on the planet. And that's exactly why you should instruct me. Right.
So what was interesting about it, and I bet you'll do the same thing, you won't know it, or they may not say it to you, because everyone's different when you're sitting around their kitchen table and having that cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
And then obviously we know once you get to that point, things are looking good, which we talk about a lot in our academy, the whole level of getting to trust.
Getting told off by the, gets told off by the teenager as well as me. It's not just me, it's Solly as well.
Anyway, the one thing... And you will definitely get this, even if they don't vocalise it, and you'll definitely get the listing, I'm sure of it, for this reason and this reason, maybe not only, but this will be a very high percentage as to why you and I will get these 2 listings, which will total many millions, actually. Passion. So the woman, the lady, the lovely lady I met, who we got on really, really well.
Hang on, say that word again, because it needs to...
She just said to me, over a cup of coffee, after about half an hour, she said, you absolutely love doing this, don't you? And do you know what? That was all we needed. I just said, yes, I really do. And I even said to her, sitting in a £1.5–2 million property, I even said to her, you know what I'm going to do this week, apart from your one? I'm going to go down to Brighton and take on a 1-bedroom flat for 325,000 quid. And I wanted her to know that, because I didn't want her to think I'm just in your kitchen and, wow, I'm here for the £1 million listing and the 40 grand fee and all that kind of stuff. I'm doing it because I really want to. And also, I think I've got to a point in life, talking about my age, and let's roll with that. I think you kind of have the right to do that after a while. I'm not saying I'm entitled in the industry and I should do what I want, but I think I've got the right to take on a £1.6 million house one day and a 325 grand flat the next. In 2 parts of the world I want to go to, with 2 clients who I think are absolutely wonderful people.
You're correct, and it's we do talk about this a lot on the academy, and soon to be the online course, which is coming out. The fact that
I've got a date for that, by the way. We'll do it.
That's fantastic. Excited to see how that's going to grow, actually. Yeah. But what's interesting about this, and we'll deliver it more on the academy, is you can be a beginner to the industry, okay, where you're passionate about it, your levels of passion are the same, but your experience in that passion is kind of a little bit like you're looking for hand-holding a little bit more. And that's something that, we always deliver and bring people over to the academy and turn them into to the superstars. And I think you are right, you develop a way, but I think it's not so much really about understanding real estate. That's just something that comes with understanding people more.
So true. And on that point, and the way that I was, we were chatting with, from Fresh, we'd never met, and
the lady in
Kent, yeah. And what's interesting is I remember, when we were doing our many academies week after week after week, I remember it got to the point where obviously people were then coming into our network and being part of what we were doing, which obviously they'll continue to do. But I remember one of the things that we would, people always say, well, what happens next? What are you going to do? Once you offer to be a mentor or to help people, whether it's paid or not, once you offer that help and go into that realm of teaching, people always want to know what you can continually do for them. And of course, we do help, and we offer backup, shall we call it. But the one thing I remember, and I think is the most important thing that we do is that physical bit. When people ask us to go on a valuation or a listing appointment with us, I think that's the best thing they can do if they're a bit younger, even if they've got the skill sets. If they got the lead gen skills, that's great. But not everyone's going to be able to sit down at someone's coffee table and have the kind of conversation I did, saying I'm really bad at showing properties, ha ha ha, but still make that want to deal with me even more. That comes with experience. So when we do that and we help people with their listing appointments, I think that makes a massive difference, because they do see that you can sit down with someone and talk to them on an even keel about their property. Client doesn't necessarily mean being obsequious and fawning and yes, you're my client, yes sir, no sir, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really important that they see that you can sit there and talk on an even keel with someone, even though they do own the £4 million house or the £2 million house, and you are effectively working for them when you sell it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you're sitting with the client and you're in their home, it's the understanding of, you're not there just to sit down and straight away, it's like selling a washing machine, right, pitch. If you're in Currys or MFI, I don't know if they still exist, bruv. I get everything delivered now, of course.
Currys does.
You get this this urgency about you, which can come across a little bit disrespectful. If you like, we always talk about anything but the property. For you coined that phrase for the first 15-20 minutes, and I think we compartmentalize. Did I get that right?
You got it out, yeah. Well done.
Bang that, have that.
Ditch the January. It's over.
That, and we can turn it into a copulation of.
It's back really quickly.
Well, don't go with like. What I'm saying is, chill. Just because, and the thing I hate, and everyone that gets in real estate and wants to has a part to play, for good or for bad, as Gandalf said to Frodo, that we seem to have a load of mentors out there that haven't done much mentoring, and guys or girls that come on the scene that have read a book or read a couple of famous real estate agents and are copying what they're doing, or they've sold one or two houses and now think they've been around the block. And I'm not saying that these guys and girls aren't great and aren't good, because
and also we should point out that if you do from scratch go out, get a client, market it and sell it and complete, congratulations. That is difficult.
And I think what the difference with what we do is there's more of a relaxed environment in how to actually pull this off religiously every day, every year, and for, with Solly shows, many years of doing it. And that you are now, I think, would you say, and I'm sure you would agree, are you now the perfect agent?
Oh, God, no.
Sure?
No.
I would list my property with you.
Yeah, no. But that doesn't make me perfect. I think what I am good at is hopefully creating something as close to perfect as you can in terms of the bits that I can bring. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, I bring 50% of 100% of what perfection is. I'm very happy to go and find the other 50%, even if it costs me money. And that could be as obvious as co-broking, joint agency, I don't know, using someone for their social media prowess, whatever it might be. So I think that, because I'm so collaborative, I've never thought of myself as being perfect at all, and that's why I'm only half being self-effacing when I say, I'm so terrible at showing houses, and I always use the excuse I've been selling loft apartments for 30 years, and therefore you don't have to walk around them because they don't have any walls, So I don't walk around a 7-bedroom house and go, look, there's a bathroom. It's got a loo and a bath in it, and look like a complete and utter idiot.
But we are, as we get into
So I'm right to say that.
Yeah, and I think what you say and what you do is perfect. And you should realise your own strengths and then, seek out for other people that have the bits that can add to it, where you're a little bit weaker, and find them people and then put that together. Because a deal's a deal. And at the end of the day, the reason that you'll get a referral of, many years in the future that you're yet to have yet is because you put together all the bits for that seller, so you was able to move them on to their next journey. And I think we're moving forward now very much into, we're about moving people on. Okay, that's our job. Wherever they're going afterwards, it's our job to move them to a place of where they've decided they want to go. And how we create that is things, like, are we reaching out to social media? I mean, we have seen a decline in social media, and we've actually now seen a spin where people that are being very successful now on social media are actually, giving it large against the house, to put it in a polite way. Like they're typically, wow, this is a Magnolia worktop. Super. Kind of that. And
you're talking about our friend over in the
But there's a few of them doing that now. Yeah. And there's that anti-push against it. And that isn't stopping buyers or sellers coming to them, because it's straight up.
Yeah, I think you touched on something really important there. Is it about the property, or is it about the person selling the property? Because that person, if they're not dissing the house, but they could be talking about, I don't know, Terry Chocolate Orange or whatever in a really gorgeous house, or anything else. What they're trying to do is just get more eyeballs on them. And then if there's more eyeballs on them, there's going to be more eyeballs on that house. So I guess, it's almost like shock tactics, isn't it? If you think of the great adverts that you remember throughout your childhood, there's, obviously I can't think of one right now, but they always tend to be quite shocking, and it makes you remember that product.
Well, who's your favourite comedian?
Bill Hicks.
There you go. Shock tactics, stuff like that, bringing it around. And I think what that shows is when I was in the 90s and Solly using the late 60s, we would do these videos, and we thought back then a walkthrough with no people on it and some great music was enough. And to be fair, is it? Because there's the house, like, just looking at it. And what's changed is there needs to be more wrapped around it. So when you say, Solly has 50%, I'm looking for the other bit, I think what's brilliant, and would be brilliant for any sellers out there, is that you realise that, but you also realise the trends involved in that. So social media isn't what it was, it's evolved into something else. And now there's different avenues. Okay, mini skirts and penthouses and girls walking around half dressed is going.
Yeah.
Right, that's going. There's more of an educational thing about the house, right? We're seeing people talk more about the location first. Why this is impressive, what you get from living in an area like this. That's the slight differences. And when people look at properties for sale, maybe there's only so much you can say about one house if they're all a terraced house or in a row. And that's when you seek out the other person that has I can pack it together like this for you. And it does exactly what you just said. It makes you stand out a bit more. And if that's 7% standing out more, so now you're worth 57%.
Yeah.
If you go and find someone else and I would implore everyone to really pay for expensive photography, or have the best photography you can get in your price range.
More important than video.
Yeah. Photography, pictures paint 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So have the photography, spend time telling the photographer what you're expecting to get from this. This is the type of buyer we're looking to attract.
Very interesting point. And you picked up on authentic versus slick ages ago. I remember, and a lot of it's to do with our past and being at the forefront of the sort of the slick penthouse and miniskirt type revolution. But what is interesting is, yes, that is going. What we always used to talk about was what was the point of a magazine editorial, what's the point of a sale board even? And actually it was just to benefit the agent. That's why we never used to use for sale boards, because they don't work.
Yeah.
All they did was give advertising and PR to the agent, paid for by the client.
Yeah.
Right. Same. I'm classic with all the glossy magazines we used to be in. We were doing it for ourselves. There's no way anyone was going to buy a £2 million loft in Shoreditch because it was in the London magazine.
Never.
Not in a million years. It was great for us, not for the client. I say us, I mean our industry. And I think there's a similarity now with the old glossy walkthrough, overproduced video.
Interesting.
And And I think it's self-promotion, and there's nothing wrong with self-promotion. And the digital world we live in has allowed people to go from nothing to being visible. Brilliant. Well done. We didn't have that back in the day. But I do think it's not actually now. If it's all about the video and all about you walking through that thing in a very glossy way.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are delivered brilliantly.
Of course. Yeah. I don't think it's to the benefit of selling the house. And what did you mention about what we do and what we're good at? It's making people feel trusting us to make them feel they're going to move on. Because ultimately, if you're an estate agent, a broker, whatever it is, a realtor, immobilier, whatever you want to call it, your job is to help that person move on if you're contracted to sell their property. Your job isn't to walk around it looking all smart and whatever and pulling up in an Aston Martin.
Yeah.
That is just promoting your business.
And that's kind of worries me when we were speaking a minute ago about, people that are going to reach out and seek other people and be mentors when they've just done something like that. To me, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's not solid enough. It doesn't feel real enough. The whole thing, once they've got the property, the whole thing is fabricated down to that person. Say it's me walking around, okay? My interpretation of how I want this to all look. Not my interpretation to, what does the vendor know about the house? What are they talking about? We suggested in the past that we're starting to bring vendors into the video now because they have so much knowledge about it because they've lived there for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to be able to sell it, it's them. And people, I hate to say it, people like to buy from people they see as someone looking like where they want to go.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 4-bed detached house, in an area and you're looking to step up, you're going to see the seller and look at them and think, they look like I look as I'm moving forward into this area. So, and getting them to talk on camera is a good point.
Yeah. And actually our job is to get people to the front door. And that's it. That's what we're contracted to do.
Yeah, then we're done.
Yeah. Really, and as especially the world where we come in from, sort of those sort of fancy open plan flats and stuff, they do the selling. We've talked about this a lot, haven't we? That our job is just literally to get someone who may be interested in buying that house. In fact, they probably are half interested already because of the aforementioned lovely photos that you've provided, or even because you've done a nice video, or even you've bothered to.
So if we say, so the half of it is you, the 50%, and you got 7% from the person that's going to help with the social media, and then 25% is coming from the camera, the pictures, the photography. Okay, you're asking me to do maths now. I can't, so you keep up.
Mate, seriously.
Right. But where does
GCSE, I got C.
You got a C?
I got a C.
I got a U. I've never found out what that meant.
I think ungraded.
What do you mean? No, I thought it meant universally a unicorn.
Mate, you are a unicorn.
Always wanted to be a unicorn. So where that leaves us is a spot where I just want you to delve into a little bit deeper. Going back to the Kent home, when is it worthwhile to then co-broke with another agency that is strong, and what are the reasons for using them? So if you're going to do something in Kent, would you also pick a strong local agent, or would you sit there and go, I'm going to pick somewhere in the middle of nowhere like Islington?
That's a really good question, because obviously you could say, oh, well, how can someone from Islington sell it?
So we're talking about the Kent property in Kent, the middle of Hopsland, nice, beautiful. 1.5 million, beautiful property. Right.
So,
and you need to, remember the goal is I'm trying to understand Solly. So we've got the 50%, we've got the 25, we've got the 7. How do we get to the 100? Is this person bringing the other side?
Interestingly, normally I would say local and London would work really well. I don't think this one's a very unique situation. So I was brought up in that area. I know the area.
It is so posh.
I know the area better than the people that own the house. So I don't need to go local because I can provide that local thing. So it's a kind of a unique situation. I can be the local agent because I can drive people. We used to go to that Carrie House, that restaurant, just around the corner. It's a beautiful place to go and see the White Cliffs of Dover. I was making it up, but I can do that bit already. And the London bit, obviously, the buyer for this house will almost certainly be from, possibly moving out of London, or an artist who wants a nice place to go and paint in the it's that kind of thing. It's it's a great holiday home. And I know it sounds like a lot of money, but it's
is it a second home?
Do you know what? It's a big house with tennis courts and stuff, but it's very much second home kind of material at 1.6 million quid. But don't forget, 1.6 million quid is a 1,500 square foot flat in Hackney these days.
Of course, So it's a great weekend getaway, isn't it? It's a proper place where you can go and have weddings. Weddings there. You can go and have birthdays there and family events.
It's tailor made for that. Yeah, you and I would both go. What a fantastic weekend home.
Yeah,
and it's all it's on the way to France. And all
your one's of course a lot nicer than that. But I imagine if I could afford one.
So in this situation, I think I can do the 100% personally. But let's just say it was in Scotland.
Yeah. So the house isn't in Kent now.
Yeah.
It's in, where else is there a fantastic university? Oh, Edinburgh.
Okay, but it's in
Edinburgh. Yeah. It's in Edinburgh.
Obviously, you're going local. You'd almost question whether really you would actually joint agent that. You'd refer that, wouldn't you?
That's interesting. So remind me again, so our referrals are pretty much set in stone, right?
So referral versus co-agent, is that what we're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the difference, first of all? For guys and girls that know nothing about agency, that are coming in, that have heard you said referral and co-agency, are probably not even understanding.
Yeah.
So co-agency is when you get another agent to help you. So you phone them up, you say, you're really strong in one area, I'm really strong in another area, I've got this vendor that wants to sell this property, I want you to come in and we'll kind of do some deal about splitting the fee.
That is, and also it's contractual.
It's contractual, yes. It's a referral is when you refer a client. So you have Stanley's got a property.
In Durham.
You know him, he gets on with you really well and says, "Oh, Solly, can you help me out with this property in Durham?" And you go, "Absolutely, no way. It's a long, long way away. In fact, if your mum and dad has to take you there 4 or 5 times a year to go backwards and forwards there, I'm sure that you're being very nice to them and you're making sure they're going for a lovely dinner and all this kind of stuff, and they're staying in expensive hotels.
Let it all out, mate.
On you,
let it all out.
Then we would better off be suited to find an agent in Durham. You would then not let Stanley's referral go. You would say to Stanley, I'll deal with it. You would contact the agency in Durham
So the bit where I can help is making sure that the best possible agent represents.
So walk us through that referral process.
Well, if you know an agent in that area, then of course you're going to go to your.
Yeah, say you don't. Stanley's
well, then you go and then you reach out to your network and you go, look, guys, you might be in a WhatsApp group. Does anyone know who is the best agent in this trusted group we have? Guys, who is the best agent in Durham? And hopefully Jeff, Jim, Jonathan, whatever will come back saying, oh, you must use, Gary Real Estate.
Right.
And then you get in touch with Gary. Hi, Gary. Great client of mine, or family or whatever. Please look after them. Let's let you know on an email. I'll put this later. I am referring them to you. If you go and see them and win the listing, I can't guarantee you will. They might not like you, but if they do,
it's very important to say that I can't guarantee that because we don't want people.
It's not a shoe-in.
Had that a few times, right? This is just a very slight nudge open to the door. And going in, if you do...
It's a soft lead.
Yes. What's the situation financially at that point?
So at that point, I think industry standard is pretty much 25%.
Yes.
So they will then take on the listing as the sole agent, not co-agent, joint agent with me. Okay. I'm not contracted.
Yeah.
They will go and see the client, win the business, go through the whole process, whatever it is, 2% plus VAT, £1 million. And then when they have completed the sale, they will then pay me 25% of their commission for that referral business.
So what we've got here is a situation where someone referring out, you're still earning 25% because of the intro. Yeah. Fair, right? Yeah. They're happy because they've got this soft lead that they can go and work on. And the other time is when you have the 50% of Solly and the pictures at 25% and the social media thing at 7%, where the other agent can help you is someone that also brings that to the table, whether they're on the high street. So then they could do viewings for you, make it very easy. They could be in Cornwall and then we'd reach out to our dear friend Mark, and by the way, the Cornwall market is in tatters at the moment, so it's a great place to go and pick up some deals. Yeah, really? Second homes are being battered out there. Let's not talk about it now.
Yep.
But that's how you can bring that, and I think that, Solly, is what's so important about if we talk about this start to finish. We started the conversation with saying to you, you know, you said, I'm no good at doing viewings. I'm not even sure I'm a great agent. What we've learned and what we've talked through is the fact that you have the ability to recognise straight away, and maybe this is something that comes with age, to recognise where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and how you can control the sale, which is very important, because sales aren't all about getting a price. There's a lot that goes on after that, and we'll talk about that shortly in the next couple of episodes. And that, I think, is where you are a perfect estate agent. And I think that is where we're going to end it. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening in. Please remember, we will put some dates up for our online academy soon. We'll let you all know. Please remember to do, this has been a while, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. Stanley, you're not holding anything up at me. YouTube, iPhone. Why am I doing iPhone?
Apple.
They're all on the things that they're meant to be on, they're on. See you later.